You ever have one of those moments? You've got this powerful message, this really complex idea, but you just struggle to make it land with the right people? The truth is, a single source of information, like a script or a research paper, isn't really a finished product. It's more like raw material. Well, today, we're going to break down exactly how to shape that raw material to fit any goal, any platform, and any audience you can possibly imagine.
So let's just start with a really basic question. Does one message actually fit all? I mean, really think about it. An explanation that gets a room full of experts super excited might completely put a group of beginners to sleep. The tone that builds trust with one group could totally alienate another. Yeah, a message that's perfect for one audience can, and let's be honest, it often does, completely miss the mark for another.
Okay, so enough talk, let's see this in action. Take the core fact. Quantum computers are a threat to Ethereum. On one side, you have this urgent, punchy take. A quantum computer that simply solved the math that keeps your money safe. It's visual, it's dramatic. But then, on the other side, you get the more academic version. The vulnerability of ECDSA to Shor's algorithm presents a non-trivial existential risk. See, it's the exact same idea, but with wildly different impacts. That's the power of customization.
And that is exactly what we're talking about today, a solution to that whole one-size-fits-all problem. You can think of it like a creator's toolkit, a whole suite of options that lets you shape your message with real precision. It's all about moving from just one single script to a whole spectrum of possibilities.
To make this all super clear and not just theoretical, we're going to use one single script as our case study for this whole explainer. It's called Ethereum versus Quantum, and it's a deep dive into the race to make the blockchain quantum resistant. By applying our toolkit to this one script, we can see exactly how these transformations work in the real world.
All right, first up in our toolkit, tone. Honestly, this might be the most powerful dial you can turn. It's not just what you say, it's all about how you say it. So let's see how we can completely morph our Ethereum script just by changing the tonal approach.
So here's our first example, the conversational tone. Just listen to the language. Hacker in a hoodie, sci-fi flick. It's friendly, right? It uses analogies, and it's designed to make a really complex topic feel accessible and relatable. It's less about getting every technical detail perfect and more about just connecting with the listener.
Okay, now let's do a complete 180. Check this out. This is the academic tone. We're using really precise technical terms like ECDSA and Shor's algorithm. The language is formal, it's objective, and it prioritizes accuracy above everything else. This is the tone you'd use if you were talking to an audience of cryptographers or computer science students.
And then there's this. This is the aggressive or fearful tone. The difference is just, wow. Notice the shift? Short, sharp sentences, all caps, crisis language. The message is brutally simple. This is not a drill. The goal here isn't nuance. It's all about creating a powerful sense of urgency to make the audience act right now. And last but not least, we have the balanced or journalistic tone. This one's all about presenting multiple perspectives. It uses qualifiers like some experts disagree, or in this case, while researchers cite a threat, developers are working on solutions. This is how you build credibility and give a complete, impartial picture.
Okay, so tone is a huge one, right? But it's just one tool in the kit. Once you figure out how you want to sound, you've got to decide, well, what are you going to say and who are you saying it to? And that brings us to tailoring the scope, which is all about adjusting the length, depth, and focus of your message. Let's start with length. It's pretty straightforward. For a 10-minute cut of our Ethereum script, you'd probably just keep the hook in the core thread and maybe cut out the deeper dives into specific upgrades. The 15-minute version is the full script as it was written. But a 20-plus minute deep dive, that's where you'd add brand new segments, like a simulated expert interview or a Q&A section to really flesh out the content.
Now this is where it gets really cool though. It's not just about cutting things down, it's about tailoring the actual content for totally different people. For beginners, we'd probably add a "So, what is blockchain?" explainer right at the start and simplify all the technical terms. For developers, we'd throw in more code-level details and math. And for investors, we'd focus more on market risk and financial data. Same topic, 3 completely different angles.
So we've tweaked the tone, we've adjusted the content, but what about the person actually delivering the message? Who's telling the story? The narrative format itself is an incredibly powerful tool for shaping how the audience experiences everything.
Right now, you're listening to the standard format, right? A single, authoritative host. But imagine this, a 2-host debate. You could split our Ethereum script into host A, the optimist who's all about the solutions, and host B, the pessimist who just hammers on the risks. Suddenly, you've created this dynamic tension that explores the topic through dialogue and a little bit of conflict. And it's not just those two. You've really got three main flavors to choose from. There's the single host, that's for a clear, authoritative voice. You have the two-host debate to really dig into the tension of an issue. Or you could do an interview format where you bring in a simulated expert guest for the super technical parts. Each one creates a totally different experience for the viewer.
All right, so we've got all these awesome creative options on the table. But how do you actually, do it? How do you put this into practice without it taking forever? Let's walk through a power user workflow for bringing your customized script to life.
If you're using AI tools like Notebook LM, here's a workflow that works really well. First, you upload your core script. Step 2, you add some extra sources, things like official documents or blog posts to give the AI more context. Third, use a feature like the audio overview to set the conversational style you want. And finally, you just prompt it to generate the script with your desired length and tone, and then you just go back and double-check that no key details got dropped.
So when you pull all of this together, what do you get? It's really a total shift in how you think about creating content. We're moving away from the idea of making just one definitive piece of content and moving towards the idea of a flexible, adaptable message that can be crafted for maximum impact.
Because at the end of the day, it's not just about making an explainer, it's about making the right explainer. The one that actually resonates, the one that clarifies, the one that achieves the specific goal you set out to accomplish with the specific audience you need to reach. That's the real power here.
And that, of course, brings everything right back to you. With this kind of toolkit, all these options for tone, scope, and voice, the possibilities are, well, they're pretty much endless. The only real limit is your own creativity. So the final question is a simple one. Now, what story will you tell?